Hello, welcome to the Adventure Corner. I'm your host, Robot Spacer. Good to see you all. Welcome, David Alexander, Silverstreak, 67, Fton. Hope you all are doing well. 67 says, good afternoon. I hope you don't get stranded in the caves and eaten by a grue. I hope so too. Are there? I think Zork invented grues, right? As I recall, Zork invented grues as a solution to pits unexpectedly appearing in places they shouldn't. So they decided that instead of unexpectedly falling into a pit in the dark, you would get eaten by a grue. Maple Mystery, great to see you. Average Melon, welcome. Hope y'all are doing good. Fton said, didn't this game lose the poll? And yet here we are. Yes, it did lose the poll for my anniversary stream coming up on January 6th. I think that's correct. Next Friday. But that means we actually get to start this sooner. So I think that all works out well in the end. So Colossal Cave Adventure. Let me pull up my notes here. I have a lot of stuff I want to share about this game because this is the first adventure game. The very first. So first I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia, and then I have a bit of background on the original creator and how this game originally came about. So Wikipedia says, Colossal Cave Adventure, also known as Adventure or Advent, is a text-based adventure game released in 1976 by developer Will Crowther for the PDP-10 mainframe computer. It was expanded upon in 1977 by Dan Woods. In the game, the player explores a cave system rumored to be filled with treasure and gold. The game is composed of dozens of locations, and the player moves between these locations and interacts with objects in them by typing one- or two-word commands, which are interpreted by the game's natural language input system. The program acts as a narrator, describing the player's location and the results of the player's attempted actions. It is the first well-known example of interactive fiction, as well as the first well-known adventure game, for which it was also the namesake. The original game, written in 1975 and 1976, was based on Crowther's maps and experiences caving in Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, the longest cave system in the world. Further, it was intended in part to be accessible by non-technical players, such as his two daughters. Woods' version expanded the game in size and increased the number of fantasy elements present in it, such as a dragon and magical spells. Both versions, typically played over teleprinters connected to mainframe computers, were spread around the I looked up how to correctly pronounce this word, nascent?
Yeah.
ARPANET, the precursor to the internet, which Crowther was involved in developing. That's a word I've said a lot in my head. I think I always pronounce it nascent, which is, I guess, not quite correct.
I mean, I don't know that it's incorrect, but I feel like the more typical pronunciation is nascent.
Right. Colossal Cave Adventure was one of the first teletype games and was massively popular in the computer community in the late 1970s, with numerous ports and modified versions being created based on Woods' source code. It directly inspired the creation of numerous games, including Zork, 1977, Adventureland, 1978, Mystery House, 1980, Rogue, 1980, and Adventure, 1980. And if you're confused by that one, that's the Atari game that it's referring to there, which is a graphical adventure game, which went on to be the foundations of the interactive fiction, adventure, roguelike, and action-adventure genres. It also influenced the creation of the MUD and computer role-playing game genres. It has been noted as one of the most influential video games, and in 2019 was inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame by The Strong and the International Center for the History of Electronic Games. Thank you for doing that shout out. If y'all aren't following Maple Mystery, I definitely recommend it.
Try to do the native shout out for Silver also, but it keeps telling me, like, okay, you can only have one active at a time. Me.
And of course, Silverstreak is a wonderful streamer as well. So I wanted to share a bit more background on Will Crowther, the original creator. So there was a nice, relatively short bio on rickadams.org, which has a lot of great info. Also, I should go ahead and hit this button here. If you are interested in playing this game for yourself, honestly, one of the easiest ways to play it is on the website for the upcoming Colossal Cave Reimagined. There's a link there to that. They have the text version that you can play right in your browser. There's actually quite a few different sites that have a version set up like that, but I figured that was a good one to share. And then there's also a link there to a page on rickadams.org that includes, it's a nice breakdown of like different versions of the game organized by, significant differences, and then it includes some links to downloads, mostly DOS versions. And then the history section of rickadams.org says, in 1972, William Crowther and his wife Pat were working for Bolt, Beranek, and Newman in Boston, otherwise known as BBN. Will was developing the assembly language program for the original routers used in creating the ARPANET. In their spare time, the Crowthers, both avid cavers, explored and mapped portions of the Mammoth and Flint Ridge cave systems in Kentucky for the Cave Research Foundation. Still thinking of the many beautiful sights they had seen, including caverns with colorful names like the Hall of the Mountain King and Two Pit Room, Will Crowther produced plotter line drawing maps of the cave from survey data of their explorations. Crowther was a meticulous cave explorer. He had an ASR-33 teletype set up in his living room, connected remotely to a computer at work that he and several friends used to input cave survey data. His wife Pat wrote a program that would read this data and plot maps of the cave being surveyed. Other activities Crowther enjoyed were rock climbing and a regular game of Dungeons & Dragons, a role-playing game in which Crowther took on the persona of Willie the Thief among a circle of close friends. Unfortunately, Crowther's marriage ended in 1975. Sometime thereafter, feeling estranged from his two daughters and wanting to be closer to them, he decided to write a program that they might enjoy, a simulation of his cave explorations that also contained elements of his fantasy role-playing. He was intrigued by the idea of trying a computer-mediated version of the game. He wrote a computer simulation based on the maps for a Digital Equipment Corporation PDP-10 computer in Fortran. His first version included caver jargon such as Y2, a typical notation on cave maps denoting a survey point, and many of the names of rooms in this version came from actual features in the caves Will had been exploring. Crowther's daughters enjoyed the game, and it was passed from friend to friend during the early days of the internet, appearing on countless computers on and off the fledgling network. Often someone would install Adventure in the wee hours of the night without mentioning it to the computer staff and move on, resulting in a mysterious yet impressive game program seeming to appear as if by magic. So then I also wanted to share this fascinating adventure family tree. So this has these short letter and number codes representing various versions of the game. So at the very top of the family tree here, we have the original Crowther version. And then directly below that is the Dan Woods version. Don Woods, excuse me. And that version is kind of considered like I guess canonical is maybe the best way to describe it. Like it's the original version according to a lot of people, but obviously it's not really. It's already been heavily modified quite a bit. But that's like the best known version. And that version added the point system with a maximum score of 350 points. So the version that I will be playing is actually over here on the side. So like this long list on the right here is a bunch of different versions of the game that are based on that Don Woods version. So it's a Macintosh port in BASIC of that original or canonical Crowther and Woods version. And then below that on this chart here are there's quite a few significant variations that add like additional treasures to find, that change the total number of points you can get. Like there's one that's 550 points that seems to be pretty well known. So I just thought was a really interesting chart of just how many different versions of this there are, and this isn't even complete. I also wanted to share a short little video of a teletype machine. So back in the day, people didn't just have a computer in their house. Like this is a machine that has a keyboard and a printer, basically.
Is that Chewbacca?
Yeah, that is Chewbacca. That seems to have been added to this lovely little computer in the background. I am not quite old enough to have ever seen in person one of these or used one myself, but I'm familiar with the basic concept. Basically, you would type in commands on the keyboard. They would be sent off to like a mainframe computer somewhere else, often like, someone at home might have one of these, and then it's, being sent to a mainframe computer at their office or whatever. And then the mainframe computer sends back data that, is interpreted as ASCII text that can be printed out, or this is honestly a thing I didn't know about until today. This has this little skinny tape reel on the left side here, which can basically print out like other data that isn't text. Like it's a little kind of like mini punch card reel thing, which is fascinating. But let's watch this little clip here. It's a little demonstration of how it works.
So here I am sending an ASCII message pre-recorded on the HP Terminal magnetic cartridge to the teletype. I have the teletype set up to print the message and also punch it on the tape.
So I believe the computer in the background is the computer that's sending the data to the teletype. So, if you were using this to play a game, you'd type your commands on the keyboard, and then the mainframe would send back the game's response and print it out. Honestly, I would love to try playing a game like this. It'd be fascinating. I was hoping I could find on YouTube a little video of, someone playing adventure this way, but I couldn't find someone in my brief searches.
Could more than one person be playing the game at the same time in that way?
I assume the mainframe would be capable of, handling multiple programs running. Mm-hmm. And that's always been my understanding of this type of setup. But certainly not something I'm super knowledgeable on.
Right.
What else did I want to talk about? So the version of the game I am going to be playing is a port for Macintosh, like I was saying a bit ago, written in BASIC by James Associates in Colorado. I figured it would be nice to kind of combine a little bit of my own childhood into the mix here, since obviously I can't properly play this on a real teletype or anything like that. Lots of versions are available for DOS and things like that, but I figured this would be fun to kind of play it a little bit how I might have played it if I had ever played it as a kid. So I guess we'll go ahead and start this up.
I have a possibly only tangentially related anecdote to share. You were talking about Mammoth Cave being part of the inspiration.
Yes.
I recently was listening to a podcast episode. The title of the episode was about Baby Jessica, but it was also more broadly about other times in modern American history where somebody got stuck in a hole or a cave, and how there have been multiple incidences in American history specifically where these kinds of events coincide with like a recent media innovation. So the Mammoth Cave connection is a guy named Floyd Collins in 1925 in the region that Mammoth Cave is in. Like the cave in question is now part of Mammoth Cave National Park.
Okay.
There was something known as the Kentucky Cave Wars, where this region of Kentucky, where there's just apparently a shit ton of caves, relied heavily on tourism from people wanting to come and look at caves, I guess. So locals that were good at, going into caves would try to find new caves, or entrances to caves, or create entrances to caves, rather, that were close to the main road so that they could get more visitors. And so this guy was doing that, and then a rock fell and pinned his foot. He was trapped 55 feet underground for 2 weeks, and the rescue operation to free him became maybe the first radio-based mass media sensation.
Oh, wow. Wild.
He did unfortunately die of hypothermia after 14 days. 3 days before a rescue shaft could be opened up near his position.
Jeez.
But like people would like come to like you would hear over the radio, a man is trapped at whatever cave, and people would like, I guess, go to try and help or just to see what was going on, and then it kind of became a thing where other people were like, well, all these people are here, I'll set up and sell hamburgers or pies or whatever. There's a song about him.
Wow. Average Melon says, Internet Historian on YouTube has a great video on this. Interesting.
Yes, I just saw that. I was looking up the Wikipedia to remind myself of all of the names and terms and dates. And I saw that.
Also, Silver says, I want to say I played this on a weird suitcase word processor computer that someone had ported it to.
Oh, weird.
Fascinating. So this port of the game starts out, the text is a little cut off at the top here, but it says, original adventure from MIT and Stanford Artificial Intelligence Labs. Basic translation, copyright 1983 by James Associates. The original Fortran source code for the adventure game, which started them all, has been painstakingly translated into MS Basic so the rest of us can enjoy it. This is a trip into history as well as an excellent game, so no pull-down menus, dialogue boxes, etc. You will play it exactly as your ancestors did on their teletype machines, well, maybe minus the noise. And then it goes on to explain the licensing system, which is a little bit similar to shareware, but like instead of shareware generally, it's like, if you enjoy this, send me $10. This is more of a, if you wish to keep a copy and play it, you are required to send $10 to James Associates in Boulder. And then they will, in return, send you a map of the game and upload more goodies to, I assume, their FTP server or something. So it starts off, welcome to adventure. Would you like instructions? Yes, absolutely. Somewhere nearby is Colossal Cave, where others have found fortunes and treasure and gold, though it is rumored that some who enter are never seen again. Magic is said to work in the cave. I will be your eyes and hands. Direct me with commands of 1 or 2 words. I should warn you that I look only at the first 5 letters of each word, so you'll have to enter northeast as NE to distinguish it from north.
Fascinating.
Should you get stuck, type help for some general hints. For information on how to end your adventure, etc., type info. And it says you are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. And I knew I was going to forget this. I meant to grab a pencil. You have a pencil somewhere in here, right?
Yeah.
There it is.
My big squishy pencil should be in there.
Yep. So I think I'm gonna try to do a little bit more interesting of a map than I was really originally thinking I would do a very simple circle map like I did for Wizard and the Princess.
Okay.
But I thought I would try doing something a little fancier. You all right back there?
I just dropped my iPad onto my computer. It's fine. I think you can sort of see it in the background of the camera there.
I'm glad everything is okay. So I'm going to start in pencil, and then I'll see if I can kind of embellish it a little as I ink it in later on. I don't know. I'm basically winging it, but we'll see how it goes. So I am going to start by doing circles. And we'll just label this start. So before a small brick building. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I know there's a building here we can go inside. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. And then a small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. This is the tricky part, because if it doesn't describe where that is exactly, it could be a problem. But we'll put it off to the right here. This is why I'm starting in pencil. Catching up on chat here. Just have the print sound going on a loop in the background. That would be great. Okay, so I explored just the tiniest bit in setting things up here. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out is that in this version of the game, we have one save slot. I don't know if there's any concern about getting soft lock in any way. I know you can die. But I have figured out a way I can basically make a copy of the disc that the game is on at various points if I want to back up further at any time. Just as a little safety net there. Silver says, I have found an image of the computer I played this on and posted it in your Discord. Wonderful. Okay. So I know we can go in this building. Oh, right. I almost forgot. We want to do info. There's a lot of info here that gives us important background on how to approach this game. If you want to end your adventure early, say quit. To suspend your adventure such that you can continue later, say suspend. To restart your game at a later time, just run the program as usual and it will remember that you had suspended. To see how well you're doing, say score. To get full credit for a treasure, you must have left it safely in the building, which is the building we're standing next to right now. Though you get partial credit just for locating it. You lose points for getting killed or for quitting, though the former costs you more. There are also points based on how much, if any, of the cave you've managed to explore. In particular, there is a large bonus just for getting in, to distinguish the beginners from the rest of the pack, and there are other ways to determine whether you've been through some of the more harrowing sections. If you think you've found all the treasures, just keep exploring for a while. If nothing interesting happens, you haven't found them all yet. If something interesting does happen, it means you're getting a bonus and have an opportunity to garner many more points in the Masters section. I may occasionally offer hints if you seem to be having trouble. If I do, I'll warn you in advance how much it will affect your score to accept the hints. Finally, to save paper, you may specify brief, which tells me never to repeat the full description of a place unless you explicitly ask me to. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that. So it says it's a Compact Plus. Interesting. It literally folded up and had a suitcase handle on the back. That's great. I love it. I love a computer with a handle. I had an iBook in the 90s that was is basically the time of the original iMac. So it was that kind of look with bright green and white, and that had a nice handle worked into the design. Obviously a much later computer, but Good stuff.
My mom had like a literal word processor. I don't think it did any other function other than processing words, that also had kind of a fold-up keyboard situation. I think it was a fair bit smaller than this.
Right. Hello, Dr. Guillotines. It says, taking instructions, you won't be able to get 350 points. I assume you're referring to hints there?
The hints from the system?
But yeah, that does seem to be what it's describing here. I don't know that I expect to get 350 points, especially since this seems to be telling me that if I just quit the game at some point, I will lose points. Which I'm definitely going to have to do because I don't think I'll be finishing it today. But we'll see how we do. So let's go ahead and go building. Like I've said before, my first text adventure game was Zork. I'm much more familiar with the Infocom games and their text parser, which understood like multiple word commands.
Could read a whole word and not just the first 5 letters? Possibly.
You know, I'm not sure. I feel like they had a similar, like, would not read beyond a certain number of letters system.
Think of
but I'm not positive.
Aware that a text parser couldn't understand beyond the first 5 letters. Like, it's interesting to me that this explicitly tells you.
I mean, I think it's more that, like, for efficiency's sake, it's not going to bother to. Because in most scenarios, that's enough letters to distinguish all the possible commands. But, you know, they make a point of, you know, explaining that for something like Northeast, you're going to have to use the abbreviation.
Right.
Yeah, we started out with a bunch of discussion about the original game. So let's go ahead and go building. Like I was saying, you know, in Zork, Infocom's games, you could use more words, and it would just kind of, you know, it would understand the sentence better. Like, you could say go building, but you could also say go in building. You could combine commands and say go in building and take lamp, you know. Whereas this, everything is 1 or 2 word commands. You're inside a building, a well house for a large spring. There are some keys on the ground here. There's a shiny brass lamp nearby. There is food here. There is a bottle of water here. Those all sound pretty important. So take lamp, okay. Take food, okay. Take bottle, okay. And take keys. Okay. I think that's everything. And then, of course, at any time, we can look at our inventory. Oh. If we spell it right anyway, you're currently holding the following set of keys: brass lantern, tasty food, small bottle, water in the bottle. Let's go ahead and, just for fun, I'm going to draw a little lantern up here. And some keys. Yeah, thank you, Unseeker Crush, for that. I do prefer no hints or tips unless I ask for them. I would. I enjoy figuring out the game as I go. Even if that means I struggle a little bit, I think it tends to be a little more exciting to watch if I struggle a bit and then finally come to the solution of things. So no worries, but just going forward, that is definitely the preferred approach here. All right. So one weird thing I noticed is that if, like, I want to look around the room, like if I want to get the room description again and type look, it says, sorry, but I'm not allowed to give more detail. I will repeat the long description of your location. If anyone knows a better command that, like, I don't know if this is a quirk specific to this version of the game or what, but it'd be nice if I could just get the description repeated without that message. You're inside a building, a well house for a large spring. Okay. So we will exit building. You're at end of road again. You're standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. Okay, so we're surrounded by forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. I'm not sure how much we can, like, can we look at stream? No. Okay. Where do I want to go from here? I wonder. Let's go. Can we go down gully? Okay. You're in a valley in the forest beside a stream tumbling along a rocky bed. I guess the trick here is I don't know which direction I actually went. Maybe I should stick to specific directions if I can. I guess I'll draw a down arrow. So this is valley. So we're still by the stream here. So I'm just going to draw this over this way. Let's try going east. You're in open forest with a deep valley to one side. At one point, when I was testing things, I went in the forest and immediately got lost there. So I'm just curious if I can go west and get back to where I was. Yeah, you're in forest. So that's interesting. Like, we went this way, but it was a one-way street. And I think I've talked about on my streams at least a couple times in the past is there's a maze in Zorg. And when you go in this maze, you get the description. You're in a maze of twisty little passages all alike. And as a kid, I tried to do my best to get through this maze by, mapping it out. But it didn't seem to follow logic. It's possible. I've never read a lot about exactly how that maze worked, but I could never figure it out. Like I would traverse through the maze and try to map it out, and I would always end up back somewhere unexpected. It wasn't easy to understand the route through that maze. And then many years later, I learned the spoiler for that maze, which is that if you drop an item in the maze, the twisty little passages are no longer alike. So that was a way to help distinguish the rooms from each other, and that finally allowed me to map it out and find my way around there. And then sometime later, honestly, I think pretty recently, I learned that the phrase a maze of twisty little passages all alike actually comes from Colossal Cave. What I don't know is if that same sort of like maze mechanic is present in this game. I have seen some suggestion. I don't think this is the maze that I've heard some things describing, but my understanding is there is a maze in this game, but it sounds like you can just map it out, but we'll see. Anyways, the point I'm making here is I don't know if this is a forest we can realistically map out. It does seem like every room, every distinct area of the forest we traverse through seems to have the same name. You're in open forest with a deep valley to one side. So we went back west, but we still have the same description, which is interesting. So I'm not sure how to approach this in terms of our overall map here. I think what I'll do is get a second sheet and fill in our starting point here, but then we went back west and we're still in forest. So we'll see if we can map things out from here and manage to get anywhere. I really feel like it's probably not going to be that easy. Let's try south. We continue to get the same description here, but we'll kind of wander around a little bit and see if we can ever get anywhere. Oh, you're in Valley. Fascinating. That's unexpected. So this is, whoops. This is back in the valley that we started in. So I kind of went west and then came back, and somehow that got me to where I needed to be. All right. So I think we'll stay out of the forest for now. I kind of feel like we'll probably need to go back there. But for the moment, let's see if we can find... Well, it did say the forest is all around us, so maybe we won't be able to stay out of it. But let's see if we can find anything else. I've gone south. At your feet, all the water of the stream splashes into a 2-inch slit in the rock. Downstream, the stream bed is bare rock. Okay. So... I guess I'll label this stream bed. Hey, Culinary, good to see you. How is the adventure going? It's just getting started, really, but I would say, well, it's fine.
You haven't gotten trapped in anything yet, so that seems positive.
Yeah, I went in the forest, and I got out of the forest without dying, so that seems pretty good. We got a few items to start with, so I'm optimistic. Downstream, the stream bed is bare rock. Let's go south again. I like the sound of this. You're in a 20-foot depression floored with bare dirt. Set into the dirt is a strong steel grate mounted in concrete. A dry stream bed leads into the depression. The grate is locked. But we do have a set of keys. Label this depression, and I'm going to draw a little grate here. I guess the stream kind of died out up here, so I'll just kind of do that with it. So how do we use an item? And this is I'm gonna often ask like rhetorical questions, kind of just thinking through things. If I do want help from chat, I will be clear and say, "Hey, chat," something like that. Hey, Eden Wave, good to see you. Eden Wave says, I bet this is a massive battle against the text parser. I fired up this game on my Mac SE, trying to figure out what the parser is expecting as part of the challenge. Yeah, absolutely. I was saying a bit ago, I'm more familiar with Infocom's games, like Zork was the first one that I ever played. And, in that case, you have a lot more freedom. And even then, it can be difficult to figure out what the parser expects from you. So in this case, I know we only have 1 or 2 word commands, and I need to figure out how to use the keys on the grate. I think I'm going to try unlock grate. The grate is now unlocked. There we go. Hooray. So I assume the game just, understood that we have the keys, so obviously we want to use those. Yes, I am preparing for Colossal Cave 3D. Speaking of which, they were previously calling it Colossal Cave 3D as like the official title. I noticed just in the past couple days that all their official stuff says Colossal Cave Reimagined by Roberta Williams now. So I guess that's the title they're going with now. But because that's coming out very soon on January 19th, it was a tough decision anytime, like, this happens with, a book turned into a movie a lot, right? Like, people love the book. There's a movie coming out. You've never read the book yourself. So it's like, okay, should I read the book first or watch the movie first? In this case, because I've always loved text adventure games and never played this one, and because it's such a, like, defining game, like literally the namesake for adventure games, like I figured I had to at least start playing this before I check out the original. I don't know if I'll necessarily finish. Honestly, I'm very curious how long it will take me to get through the game. How long to beat lists very short times that I'm guessing are from people, using walkthroughs or, generous amounts of hints. I tend to avoid hints unless I feel like I'm super stuck and, I just don't want to spend hours on stream doing the same things over and over trying to get somewhere. Which platform will I get? That's a great question. I think I will probably mainly play the Mac version. I mean, how can I not, right?
What else is it going to be coming out?
It's going to be on most platforms, I think. There's going to be a Switch version. Of course, Windows. I feel like there's going to be... Let's go ahead and look at the website here, and I'll go ahead and post that in chat as well. So that's the link to the upcoming remake, and I think I mentioned this in my posts about the stream, but this reimagined version started out as Ken Williams wanted something to do during the early days of the pandemic. And I think he kind of, asked Roberta for, ideas, what's a game project I could do or something like that. And she suggested this idea of a, reimagined version of the game that pretty much inspired them to start making games years ago. Basically, Ken brought home a computer and Colossal Cave Adventure, and Roberta got really into it and stayed up late nights trying to solve everything. And then by the time she was done, she wanted more, but there weren't a lot of other options. So she was just like, well, I'll make my own game. And that eventually turned into Mystery House, which of course Ken did the programming for. I was reading up recently on how the graphics were done for those early Sierra games, which is really fascinating. There was this type of, I want to say it was called a Vectra writer, something like that, but it was like kind of an early tablet. Like, it wasn't really designed to draw directly on it. You would do a drawing and then trace it with this. It had like an arm and a little like clear circle piece that you could use to see where you're pointing, and just kind of move that around the lines of your drawing, and that would convert everything. Ken had to like write software to understand the inputs and parse that into the data they needed. But yeah, that was how they got started, and now it's coming full circle with their reimagined version. So I'm very excited to check this out. But let's see, we came here to see what all the versions are. So there's PS5, Xbox Series X or S, and then it started out as kind of a virtual reality thing for the MetaQuest 2, but I think they've kind of been focusing more on getting it out on as many platforms as possible. If I happen to have one of those, I would certainly love to check this out in virtual reality, but I certainly won't buy one just for this. But yeah, pretty much any platform, any modern platform you could want. Yeah, Eden Waite says, I just saw an old video and they were using that tablet thing to help draw. I saw a video that Ken Williams posted on Twitter of there were some bits where Roberta Williams was working with someone on the Dark Crystal graphics. And in that, it looked like they were using a slightly more modern tablet, which had like a more standard stylus input. If that's the one you're referring to, this original system they used was a little bit different from that. I think they went with the simpler system initially because it was a little cheaper. But yeah, very interesting to see how all that worked regardless. Okay, let's get back to the game. So we have unlocked the grate. Open grate? It was already unlocked. Okay. So here's the thing. For one, I'm pretty sure we can't save. If I save, it will quit the game. And I believe that costs me points.
Oh.
So like I basically can't save without losing points, right, as far as I understand. So normally I would save the game here before I go into some grate that I think might get us into the cave. Mm-hmm. But I guess I just need to be adventurous here and go ahead in without saving. I figure if nothing else, this should be a game where it's relatively easy to retrace our steps if I ever need to restart. So unless I know I'm going into something very dangerous or feel, more confident that I might be about to die, I think I will probably skip saving. We'll see how long that lasts. Let's go great. Go where? Can we look great? Grate is open. Enter grate? What do you want to do with the grate? I don't know if we can just enter cave. You need more detailed instructions to do that. You're outside grate. The grate is open. Fascinating. I don't know what to call this. Go opening? I don't know that word.
Go in?
Oh, that worked. Thank you. Okay. So I think I'm gonna start a new page here for the interior area. So we've got outside, we've got forest. Oh, that's only 2 sheets of paper. I need another sheet of paper. You're in a small chamber beneath a 3x3 steel grate to the surface. A low crawl over cobbles leads inward to the west. The grate is open. I have a couple more sheets here. Oh, and if anyone else is interested in that video we were talking about, I know it's on Ken Williams' Twitter, which is Caboken, Caboken. And I also posted it on our Discord in the media sharing, if that's of interest. It was a very neat video. Okay, so I guess I'll start in the middle here again and label this grate. So we're in a small chamber and a low crawl over cobbles leads inward to the west. So I guess we're going west. You're crawling over cobbles in a low passage. There is a dim light at the east end of the passage. Okay, so that's where we just came from. Makes sense. What are those cobbles? There's a small wicker cage discarded nearby. Interesting. I'm going to draw a little cage here. I'm going to draw it as a bird cage. I don't know if it's a kind of cage. Honestly, I think I drew it as a bird cage because this reminds me... I'm reminded of... in the very beginning of Zork, there's this, like... There's a bird nest, and you find this, like, unusual egg in the bird nest, and I'm just reminded of all of that. Take cage. Okay. I still don't know if we can ever look at specific items in this game. No. Chat, if anyone knows the answer to that question, like, I tried look cage, and it's just interpreting that as wanting a description of the room again.
Is it possible?
If there's a way to look at an item that I'm missing here, feel free to let me know.
Is it possible that you should have looked at it before you took it?
That's a good question. I'll try that next time we find an item. A small wicker cage? Wait, was Nick Cage in the movie Wicker Man? Yes, in the remake. Let's take a look at our inventory again. Since it only looks at 5 letters, we can type Inven, and it will understand that. I do a little bit miss the Zork abbreviation of just typing I, but we'll manage. Okay, so it just describes it as a wicker cage. Eden White says, I found the interface of this game to be not as good as later text games where it gave better descriptions, mentioned a room name, what directions one can move, etc. Yeah, it definitely seems less clear in a lot of ways, which is interesting. So again, like we were just saying, like, it's unclear where we can go here. It mentions a dim light where we just came from. But let's try going further west. Oh, no. It is now pitch dark. If you proceed, you will likely fall into a pit.
Uh-oh.
Fortunately, no grooves. That's good. But we do have a lantern, so light lantern. Oh. Your lamp is now on. You're in a debris room filled with stuff washed in from the surface. A low, wide passage with cobbles becomes plugged with mud and debris here, but an awkward canyon leads upward and west. A note on the wall says, magic word, Zizzy. A 3-foot black rod with a rusty star on an end lies nearby.
Fascinating.
So I'm familiar with the word Zizzy, which you can use as a command in chat if you like. I set that up for fun. I know that it's kind of like a teleportation spell in this game, but I don't know much beyond that. Thank you for trying that command. There's actually 2 possible responses you can get. One is nothing happens, which is what often happens if you try to use Zizzy in this game. The other response is a hollow voice says fool, which is the response you'll get if you type Zizzy in Zork. There are lots of later games and even non-game things that will respond in some way to the word Zizzy. And Zork is one of those games that understands the command, but I don't think it's ever useful in that game. Ian Waits, I recently finished the Playdate game Crown of Zephyr. It reminds me of the old Mac Venture games. Highly recommended. Not too long, it was lots of fun. I mapped out the rooms in the game like an old classic Sierra game. Nice. You know, I was originally saving this little segue for my upcoming anniversary stream, but since you brought up the Mac Venture games, I started finally reading this dang book recently. If anyone is not familiar with this book, it is a wonderful Secret History of Mac Gaming by Richard Moss. Love the art in this book, and I'll flip through it a little so you can see some more of it. Got nice little custom art. There's Cosmic Osmo, a favorite. Geez, what's that one? The Manhole, of course.
Did you see Maple Mysteries heading out?
Oh, thank you so much for stopping by, and hope you have a great day, and Happy New Year. This is Deja Vu. Okay, so perfect. Just one of the MacVenture games we were talking about. I was looking up info about Maniac Mansion, which is the game I'm going to play for my anniversary stream. And it mentioned how Ron Gilbert created the Scum game engine for this game, of course. The MM in Scum stands for Maniac Mansion. And how he wanted it to be a fully point-and-click interface. And I started wondering, this wasn't like the first point-and-click, was it? I figured it probably wasn't, but certainly a very early point-and-click. So I did a quick search, and the article that brought up was, unsurprisingly, an article by Richard Moss, written for Ars Technica. And perhaps not the absolute first, but definitely one of the very first point-and-click games was a game called Enchanted Scepters, which is a game that I happen to have a copy of. I do it that. I think it's over on my shelf here.
Do you want me to get it?
But yeah, sure. If you can find it. I can't remember where I put it.
Oh, did you put it away?
I don't remember.
I can confirm he has it. He walked out holding it and showed it to me.
But it's a game by Silicon Beach Software that was, of course, a Mac game. And it worked a lot like a text adventure game, but you had menus and things to choose from, and also there was like a graphical screen you could click on to do various things.
What was it called again?
Enchanted Scepters.
Okay.
It's a tan disc.
It's not one of the tan discs that...
Oh, I think it's actually in the case of discs. My mistake.
Where is that?
It's over here on the shelf. You don't have to worry about it. But it was fascinating to discover that was like roughly the first point-and-click game ever made. Adventure game, excuse me. And then, of course, the MacVenture series kind of like fully fleshed out the point-and-click approach. Instead of essentially choosing text commands from menus, there's a lot more like interaction directly with items. There it is. There is my copy of Enchanted Scepters, which I miraculously still have. I don't think I have the package for this anymore, but I need to do some digging to see if I can find that. But I just thought it was fun that like I grew up with that game, but it never really occurred to me that it was the first point-and-click adventure game. I was pretty young at the time, so there's lots of things I remember from my childhood that I'm like just now like starting to put in context of like the history of computer games. Catching up with chat here. Eden Waith says, in my old text adventure game, I think I responded if the user typed in Zizzy. Nice. Love the type in that book. Looks like it was typed on an old Mac, including that classic font. Yeah, for sure. Do I think the floppy still works? That's a great question. So I recently picked up a USB floppy disk drive, perhaps foolishly thinking this might let me read some of my old floppy disks, but it does not. I was able to read at least one floppy disk successfully. I've also got a handful of things that, like, you know, were later transferred to a hard drive. Like I found some old Sierra games that way. And then, you know, the hard drive got backed up over time, so I still have a copy of things that way. But there's certain things that I only have on floppies. And the drive I got, at least, was not able to read them. I believe the problem is, after researching it more, that just, like, the early disk formats are not really readable by a modern drive, from what I understand. I did come across a fascinating device that will let you, like, take an old Mac drive and install this component in it that will let you use it with a modern computer, which is potentially something I could do. Like, I have my old Mac, which includes an external disk drive as well, but that's probably a bit more technical expertise than I have required to do such a thing. I might still see if I can give that a shot someday, but not quite ready for that. It says, I picked up a USB drive from Micro Center years ago and it worked with the 720K and 144 megabyte PC floppies. Interesting. But I had to use my Mac SE to read my old Mac formatted floppies. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I can't remember what all I tried in terms of, like, I was mostly trying to, like, I booted up, like, the oldest version of OS 10 that I had to see if that could read it. And actually going back to the oldest version did help read some things, but not very much. But yeah, I should certainly experiment more with that to see what I can do. The older Mac contained a super drive floppy that it could write to high density 1.44 megabyte disks. But my Mac SE did not have that drive. It only wrote to the lower density disks. Yeah. All right, so heck, let's get back to this. This doesn't have, oh, it does have a little eraser. I'll do my best to use it sparingly. Okay, so I've erased the word dark because we can now see we're in a debris room. We'll use that as our description. And Zizzy on the wall, and also a 3-foot black rod with a rusty star on an end lies nearby. So I'm going to draw this little magic wand. Is this a rusty magic wand? Take rod. Okay. Oh, I was going to look at it before I picked it up. I completely forgot.
Oops.
So this says magic word Zizzy on the wall, and a thing I knew. One of the very few things I know about this game is that that's a teleportation spell that you can only use in a specific spot. And originally I did not know what that spot was, but earlier, just today, I happened to try typing Zizzy in the building that you start out in front of, and it took me to a dark place.
Oh.
And at that point, I was like, oh no, spoilers. So I quit the game. But I kind of am wondering now, like, more specifically, my understanding of this word is it was kind of put in as a shortcut. So I kind of wonder if that actually takes us from the building to this place we are in now, but I don't know. It was pitch dark when I did it initially. But certainly if we die at some point, I will try that and see if it takes us here. Side question, have you completed Return to Monkey Island? No. That's a tricky one. I am dying to play it. I'm very excited to play it. I might need to rethink that at some point. My original thought was, eventually I want to stream the Monkey Island games, right? So I should wait and replay all the older games and then finally play that for the first time. But realistically, that's going to be a very long time from now. So we'll see. Silver says, I've been holding off playing it to see Robot Spacer play it. Wow.
Oh, geez.
That's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I'll have to think more about that. I figured there were lots of people streaming it, and, obviously lots of people would want to play it for themselves first, so I figured it wasn't too much of a rush. But I will definitely get there eventually. There's a lot of LucasArts games I want to check out on stream at some point. I'll just say I enjoyed Return to Monkey Island. I will definitely replay it. Nice. Yeah, I've heard almost entirely good things. Certainly only good things from people whose opinions I value. Okay. I'm going to type look rod, even though I don't expect this to get me anywhere. Yeah. Zach McCracken awaits, indeed. A low, wide passage with cobbles becomes plugged with mud and debris here. So it kind of seems like this is like the stream is kind of trickling into here. But an awkward canyon leads upward and west. A note on the wall says magic word Zizzy. Okay, so let's continue. Let's keep going west here and see where we get to. You are in an awkward, sloping east-west canyon. We'll just write slope. And we'll just keep going west, I guess. You're in a splendid chamber, 30 feet high. The walls are frozen rivers of orange stone, an awkward canyon, and a good passage exit from east and west sides of the chamber.
Splendid.
A cheerful little bird is sitting here singing. And I kind of love that I am immediately picturing the bird from Colossal Cave Reimagined that I've seen in various trailers for that game. Cheerful little bird is sitting here singing. So we have, normally if I come across a bird, my first thought is not going to be, I need to get that bird. But I have a wicker cage that we found. And as I said, I had already imagined that as being like a bird cage. So I'm wondering if we need to like capture this bird. I wouldn't think it would be one of the treasures, but I don't know. Maybe we need it to like do something. Kind of the best I can think of there is like, the whole using music to soothe a savage beast type of scenario. But let's go ahead and add this to the map. I guess I'm going to draw a big circle here. Since this is a 30-foot chamber, and we'll draw a little bird. Did I forget the R? Poisonous. Oh no, I hope it's not poisonous. Don't lick the poisonous bird. Lick bird. I don't know that word. Can we look at the bird? We don't get a further description. Should I just try using the cage on it? Can I listen? I don't know that word.
Get bird.
Ian Waith says, if King's Quest II taught me anything, pick up any birds. But if King's Quest I taught me anything, you get picked up by a bird. Get bird? Ooh. The bird was unafraid when you entered, but as you approach, it becomes disturbed and you cannot catch it. Let's try use cage. I don't know that word. Okay, so we can't... It doesn't understand the verb use. We have to be more descriptive in some way. I assume, because of the get bird response, that we can't... Like, we have a cage we could put the bird in, but we need something else first. Is what I'm gathering from this. Like, we need to calm it in some way. Should I try using the magic wand? I feel like it's dangerous, but also I'm not going to learn what it does until I use it.
Right.
So let's try wave. Will it understand wand? Wave wand. I don't know that word. Wave rod. Rob. Wave rod. Nothing happens. Okay. Put bird in bottle. Oh, wait, this isn't a Zelda game. Okay. Let's look at inventory again. We have a set of keys, brass lantern, wicker cage, black rod, tasty food, small bottle, water in the bottle. I can't remember if the food was described to us at all. What happens if I drop the food? Okay.
I don't recall any kind of description of the food.
Or should I have tried give food? Oh, it doesn't understand give. Interesting. Yeah. Dropping some food on the ground did not help, so I'm going to pick up the food again. 5-second rule. Feed bird custard pie. That's too many input commands. Also, we don't have a custard pie. Let's look around again. It's interesting that now I'm no longer getting the response that, like, it thinks I'm trying to do something other than just repeat the room description. You're in a splendid chamber 30 feet high. The walls are frozen rivers of orange stone. Okay. So that's not literally, it's just describing the appearance. It looks like rivers of orange stone. An awkward canyon and a good passage. I'm trying to understand. Awkward canyon and a good passage exit from east and west sides of the chamber. Okay. So like the awkward, we're contrasting good with awkward, I guess, is the reason for that description. So we came from the east, so I guess we're going to just continue going west and run out of map space. At your feet is a small pit, breathing traces of white mist. An east passage ends here, except for a small crack leading on. Rough stone steps lead down the pit. Ooh.
I don't like the description of the pit as breathing. That's ominous.
It is ominous. Also, we do know there's a dragon in this game.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, that was brought up in the backstory we learned at the beginning. So, that's something to think about. I don't know if we would come across a dragon this soon. Honestly, I don't know how big this game world is. Like, I think one of the things I read described it as having dozens of rooms, which doesn't sound like that many. But I'm trying to understand. An east passage ends here except for a small crack leading on. Okay, so I think this is saying that if we could continue west, it's just there's a small crack we'd have to squeeze through to keep going west. And then there are some stone steps we could use to go down. So we're going west, so we might as well keep going. Okay. I tried to go west and it says the crack is far too small for you to follow. You're at the top of small pit. So it does have like short names for the rooms. It just doesn't give you them immediately. So I do want to write down here that there's a crack here. It feels important even if we can't go there. Maybe we can eat a bean and become small, or maybe we'll have to do some puzzle that involves this crack somehow. I don't know. But I guess we're going down now. You are at one end of a vast hall stretching forward out of sight to the west. There are openings to either side. Nearby, a wide stone staircase leads downward. The hall is filled with wisps of white mist swaying to and fro, almost as if alive. A cold wind blows up the staircase. There is a passage at the top of a dome behind you. Rough stone steps lead up to the dome. Okay. Let me go over this again to understand all of our options here. Okay, so we can continue to go downward. Nearby, a wide stone staircase leads downward. So I think... I'm trying to understand if this is connected to this 30-foot chamber we were just nearby, or if that's kind of separate. I don't know. I guess I'm going to draw another big circle over here. And we'll call this vast hall. Stretching forward out of sight to the west. So there is more to the west here. And there's wisps of white mist. Very misty in here. Cold wind blows up the staircase. There's a passage at the top of a dome behind you. Okay, rough stone steps lead up the dome. So I think that's just describing where we just came from. But then we can also go down. Do I want to go down or try going west? Let's try west. Oh. A little dwarf just walked around a corner, saw you, threw a little axe at you, which missed, cursed, and ran away.
Yikes.
You're on the east bank of a fissure, slicing clear across the hall. The mist is quite thick here, and the fissure is too wide to jump. There is a little axe here. Oh, free axe! Oh, look, axe. Okay. We still can't look at items before we pick them up. It seems like that's just not something we get. Take axe. Okay. Interesting. Also, it's kind of funny that, like, I'm realizing I actually know about a number of things that are in this game just from watching trailers for Colossal Cave Reimagined. Also, know there's a shot in the trailer, I think, showing a couple of these dwarves. Okay, so I've run out of room. I think I will continue on a separate page here. I've seen some really nicely drawn maps of this game. There's actually making of a video for Colossal Cave Reimagined that had a shot of Roberta Williams working on the game very recently, and she had a nice printed out map of the game next to her. I also saw a couple online, but then quickly looked away for fear of spoilers. But there are clearly some really nice, they're not, it's not just a bunch of circles, right? It's like, mapping this out as though it's a real place, because, it is based on a real place. So I'm looking forward to eventually finishing this game and checking those out. We'll call this East Bank. Of a fissure slicing clear across the hall. Mist is quite thick, so we still have this mist. And the fissure is too wide to jump. Okay, so the fissure is to the west. And it's too wide to jump, which makes me think, so is there some other way we can cross it? Or is it simply uncrossable? So we can't go west anymore. Let's see if we can... Okay. So it doesn't seem like we can go in other directions. Like, I'm getting the impression that even though it's not always super explicit about what directions we can go, it is giving us information to understand the directions we can go. So I think we're basically at a dead end here. So we'll go back east. And now we're in the Hall of Mists. I'm just updating labels here. East Bank of Fisher and Hall of Mists. Rough stone steps lead up the dome. So my understanding was that we could also go down. Let's try that. Oh, there's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. You were in the Hall of the Mountain King, with passages off in all directions. A huge, green, fierce snake bars the way.
Dang.
This is dangerous, y'all. Hall of the Mountain King. So this is down. A huge green fierce snake bars the way. I know this isn't going to work, but I'm going to try look at snake. Oh. We got the same description. Can we take this knife? The dwarves' knives vanish as they strike the walls of the cave. Interesting. I thought we were going to get some additional weapons here, but I guess not. So all directions. I don't know if that's like north, south, east, west, or if we also have like northeast, south, west, etc. Let's try northwest. There's no way to go in that direction. So, okay, so this dwarf is like ever present here and keeps throwing knives at me. I don't know if I'm risking my life simply by continuing to be here or what. Let's continue trying the diagonal directions just to make sure. Southwest. Okay. At least the knife throwing is not very well aimed, apparently. They keep missing. It almost seems like this description of the dwarf throwing a knife at me is like part of the ever persistent part of the room description or something. All right, we've been going west so much, let's try it again. The snake is to the west. Okay. So we can draw the snake here. Oh no. You can't get by the snake. There is a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It gets you.
Oh no.
Oh dear, you seem to have gotten yourself killed. I might be able to help you out, but I've never really done this before. Do you want me to try to reincarnate you? I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to say no. Okay, you scored 46 out of a possible 350 using 74 turns. Your score qualifies you as a novice class adventurer. To achieve the next higher rating, you need 55 more points. Press return to go back to the finder. So that's it. The end. We finished the game. We'll start over. Which is great because now we can... we do not need instructions. Now we can try out the thing I was saying about the Zizzy command. We'll go building. We'll get lamp. We'll get food. Get water. Get keys.
How do we get Super Sleuth?
That's a great question. Okay, I think that's everything. Also, if anyone is wondering, the game does not understand get all, which is another thing that I very much appreciated in the Infocom games. So we got all our items now, and now I'm going to try Zizzy. It is now pitch dark. If you proceed, you will likely fall into a pit. Light lamp. Your lamp is now on. You are in a debris room filled with stuff washed from the surface. A low, wide passage with cobbles becomes plugged with mud and debris here, but an awkward canyon leads upward and west. A note on the wall says, magic word Zizzy. A 3-foot black rod with a rusty star on an end lies nearby. Take rod. Okay. And then we need to go back east and take cage. Okay. But now we're more or less caught up with... We have all the items we had before. We just need to get back to exploring. And I guess the main thing we've learned is that if we go to the Hall of the Mountain King, we don't want to hang around. And we can't go west until we figure out how to deal with the snake. I was hoping to have an opportunity to try the... Like, there's got to be a magic wand, this strange rod, right? I don't know if that is something we could use to deal with the snake or not. Looks like that Boulder, Colorado address listed at the start of the game was just someone's house. Yes. I was going to wait until I had a resolution of this story to share it, but since you brought it up... I looked into that address, and actually one of the first things I found was that the house there was sold fairly recently in the 2000s, like, I don't know, 2012 or something like that. So, you know, that pretty most likely confirmed what I already suspected, which is that James Associates was no longer located at that address. So I was like, shoot, you know, I want to honor this agreement and send my $10. And I was literally ready to just, you know, put $10 in an envelope and send it to the address, include a note, you know, explaining why the heck I'm doing this in case, you know, the current owners happen to get it and open it. But then I did some more digging online, and I found... like initially, like I had a lot of trouble finding anything. There's a lot of different businesses named James Associates. Like I came across a lawyer named James and Associates in Colorado, and you know, other businesses elsewhere. The developer. Mostly it just says James Associates, but there's one screen where it says LW James, so that gave me a little bit more to Google and use as a comparison as I found different info. And eventually I found a Larry James on LinkedIn that just kind of gave me vibes of like...
Used to do computers.
Right. Maybe someone that might have done this. And I was like, okay, you know, maybe I'll try sending them a message on LinkedIn just as kind of a long shot. And then finally I managed to find, I was like, okay, I'm just going to Google James Associates Colorado and look at like at least the first page of results, right? You know, just look at every website and see if there's anything that sounds promising. And finally, I managed to come across a link to a company called James Associates, Inc. in Colorado that made software, that currently makes software. Originally, let me bring up my notes here. They previously had a piece of software called Mac GPS Pro. Sounds very promising, right? They currently have an app. What started out as like an app for Mac to do load maps onto a GPS eventually became an app for iOS that has maps that you can use offline for like hiking and stuff. And at first it seemed like I wasn't going to be able to find any other info about this company that would help me confirm, if this was the right place. But then eventually I found a contact page which listed a Dr. James Lawrence, PhD. Dr. Lawrence James, PhD. And the email address, lwjames@maxgpspro.com. So I believe I have found the person that created this port. I sent him an email to ask where I can send my $10 to, and I hope I will hear back. I'm very excited about that. But so far I have not heard back yet. I will definitely share more when I do, if I do. Okay, so we're in debris room. We want to keep going west here. There's our bird. I think this is kind of the only... You know what? Let's go back to the grate. You're in Cobble Crawl. Okay. This is where I found the cage. Okay, and now we're below the grate. So, okay. This seems to confirm what I kind of thought, which is we can actually only go west from here. Yeah. So I think we pretty much followed the only path that we actually had. And then we're at the pit. So we have the crack here, which we don't know if there's something we need to do with that. Let's go down. And then west of here, we have the east bank of the fissure, which we can't really do anything at. So I guess we pretty much have to go back to the Hall of the Mountain King. Edenwaith says there was some old macOS 9 software and I saw the company's address was in Aurora, Colorado. I looked up the old address, but it looks like it was stationed in a strip mall. The original office is likely long gone. Interesting. So we'll go down. Oh, I just realized we haven't encountered the dwarf that threw an axe at us yet. So we actually are missing that axe that we picked up, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I'm sure there will be other opportunities to obtain that, if it's even something important. And also, interestingly, there's nobody throwing knives at us in here right now. But let's try going north. Oh. Is the snake, like, all around us?
It is a pretty big snake, apparently.
Yeah. It says a huge green fierce snake bars the way. So I guess they mean always. That's wild. I'm going to try the other directions. Oh. Okay. So east took me back up to the Hall of Mists. So I'm going to do this here. Honestly, the more I map this out, I almost wonder if I want to, like, completely redo the map once I have more information to make something a little more visually appealing. But, okay, so we can go back here at least. And then if we go... Right. Okay, that's interesting. Top of small pit. Okay. So going east from there gets us back to the pit. So I guess it's kind of a winding staircase situation, which I think is how it was described. King's Quest teaches us that snakes are the best guards to prevent getting to new locations in games. Indeed. But this does make me think we need to deal with this snake soon, and like maybe we have already what we need to, unless of course we need to like go into the forest at the start of the game and find something through there. But let's go back down and to try south. Okay, I've tried all directions now. East/up is the only way we can go. So let's try wave rod. Nothing happens. What else do we have? Set of keys, a brass lantern, a wicker cage, black rod, tasty food, small bottle, water in the bottle. Kill snake. Attacking the snake both doesn't work and is very dangerous. I'm trying to think of other things I could try here, like literally anywhere in the game. I wonder if it might be worth trying to explore the forest more before we come down here. We have various obstacles we've come across. We have this snake. If I had the axe, I would try that. We could maybe wander around a little more and hope we obtain that axe again. But other than that, I can't really think of anything. Throw food. Okay. Interesting. I honestly didn't expect it to understand throw, but that doesn't seem to have accomplished anything. Take food. Okay. Are you trying to somehow deal with the snake? I am. Yes. I'm prepared to give you a hint, but it will cost you 2 points. Do you want the hint? No. This is very interesting. Mm-hmm. I love the mechanic, but I do not want a hint yet. So let's go back up. As I was saying, like our various obstacles we're dealing with. We have this fissure that might be crossable in some way. We don't really... Well, we do... I don't know that I tried waving the wand there. Wave rock. Yes! A crystal bridge now spans the fissure.
Nice.
Okay. I really didn't expect that to work. Pleasant surprise. Okay, so I think that's to the west. Oh, a little dwarf just walked around the corner, saw you, threw a little axe at you, which missed, cursed, and ran away. You are on the west side of the fissure in the Hall of Mists. There is a little axe here. There are diamonds here. A crystal bridge now spans the fissure. Take axe. Oop. Okay, take diamonds. You can't carry anything more. You'll have to drop something first.
Oh.
Okay.
Got too many things.
So, we are on the west side of the fissure, west bank of fissure. There are diamonds here. Okay, so that's interesting. Honestly, I hadn't thought about this much, but kind of any game with inventory. Robot's friend, thank you so much for that resub. Subscribe for a whole dang year. Holy heck. Robot's friend says, hey friends, oh gosh, it's been a minute. It sure has. Thank you so much for all your support. I really appreciate it. And it's great to have you here. So inventory is always something I wonder about in any game that has it. I honestly didn't have a chance to consider it yet. A little bit surprised we ran out of inventory space so soon, but given this, kind of started out being based on actual cave exploring, I feel like this makes a little sense. So I think probably the like gameplay loop we're expected to follow here is we get a treasure, we go back, we take it back up to the building, we leave that treasure there, and you know, that's also an opportunity to maybe drop off some other items we think we're done with, and then we go back into the cave to look for another treasure. I think that makes sense. And then that also explains the Zizzy spell, because it cuts out a bunch of tedium from that gameplay loop. It gets us back in the start of the cave a little bit faster than we would be able to do otherwise. A thing I just thought of is, in this game, I used the Zizzy spell to get in the cave, so we didn't ever use the keys to unlock the grate. I wonder if I missed some points by doing that. I mean, I would think you would get points for unlocking the grate. Anyways, let's look at our inventory. Set of keys, brass lantern, wicker cage, black rod, tasty food, small bottle, water in the bottle, dwarf's axe. Another thing I don't know is, like, if I drop something, is there a risk that that item is going to get taken by, for example, these dwarves that are roaming about? But I guess we'll kind of experiment with that. Let's go ahead and drop the food and the water. And then we'll take the diamonds. Okay, so now we have everything, or we have the diamonds and everything we'll need, at least in the immediate future. So we want to get back out and drop off our diamonds in the building, which the info at the beginning said, that's how we get maximum points for finding a treasure. So, and also I'm gonna assume, unless we find out otherwise, that this crystal bridge is now permanently here. Hopefully that's correct. Oh. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. That's interesting. So I almost wonder if this dwarf doesn't appear here until you've, done a certain number of moves or something. So we're back in, I think, the Hall of Mists. And we'll go up and then east a bunch. And now we're at the grate. Oh.
Yeah?
The grate's still locked.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get out? Can I unlock it from the inside?
Oh.
That's something I had not thought of at all. Okay, we can. Whew.
I was gonna say, is Zizzy a one-time use spell?
I think from a thing one of the few spoilers I have learned is that it only works in the building. I had heard that it only works in a specific place, and since it worked in the building, I think that is the place. But we're good. If King's Quest 2 taught me anything, it's that bridges can only be crossed 7 times. Uh-oh, that's a scary thought. Let's go up. Okay. And I think we just kind of go north from here.
You dropped the pencil.
I did. End of road, go building. You're inside building. Okay, drop diamonds. Okay, score. If you were to quit now, you would score 73 out of a possible 350. Do you indeed wish to quit now? Absolutely not. Let me get my pencil here.
You're also coming up on 2 hours, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Let's explore a little bit more before we take a break. I want to drop the rod is what made the crystal bridge appear. So I'm carrying keys. I guess, this is tricky. It's a set of keys, which is obviously more than one key. And presumably we have only used one key to open the grate. So this kind of sounds like something we might need again. But also we have a pretty limited inventory space. Another thing I don't know about while we're talking about huge question marks in the game is whether this brass lantern has a limited amount of use. It's possible I'm wasting it by not turning it off once we get out of the dark part of the cave. But I guess I'm a little bit inclined to take the risk just to see how that works. I feel like the more I play this game, the more it seems clear that once we know how to solve various puzzles, it's not going to take that long to go through it. So, for one, it's probably only worth saving when I'm done playing for the day. And for two, like, I maybe shouldn't worry about having to backtrack. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's go ahead and drop the keys. We can always come back and get them if we need them, I think. Lantern. The wicker cage, I feel like we might need in the nearest future. And then the axe, I'm hoping that'll get me past the snake. So let's, there are diamonds here. I'm curious which, okay, so west is how we get out of the building, actually. Okay. Okay, so let's go south. Oh, I should have just used the Zizzy spell, but that's okay. Oh no, I accidentally went into the forest. Well, let's experiment with forest again. I guess the tricky thing here is, like, we're back in the forest, but we can't really distinguish one space from another in the forest, so it almost seems like, at least until I understand the forest better, I need to do a new map each time. That's right. I'm going to write take 1 here. And then I'm going to do take 2 over here. So we came in from the north. Let's try going back north. You're in forest. Oh. You're in an open forest near both a valley and a road. Oh, there's a road here? Which way is the road? 6-7 said, hopefully checking the score doesn't cost you points. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think it's just if I quit after checking the score.
What if it's like checking your credit score?
Maybe. I'm going to try east. You're in valley. Okay. So that got me back to valley. And this was from great. So it kind of seems like the forest doesn't seem super logical to navigate, but it kind of seems like if we just walk around a little bit, we'll find our way out, which is good to know. I'm going to try to go into the forest again. You're an open forest with a deep valley to one side. I wanted to see if I could get to that road. Oh, you're end of road again. Actually, the road was described to us at the beginning, wasn't it? Or was it? I don't have anything on labeled road. You're standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Oh, that's our starting point, which I just labeled start. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of getting a vibe of there's not really anything to do in the forest, but I'm definitely open to being proven wrong at some point. So let's go down. Yeah. All right. Silver says, doesn't seem super logical to navigate. Describes most forests I've been through in real life. For sure, for sure. Okay, so we're back in the cave. And now we want to go back to where we dropped the food and water, which I imagine we'll need at some point. There's the Zizzy. Go down a couple times. Oh, actually, I went down too far. But since we're here, let's try killing the snake. Attacking the snake both doesn't work and is very dangerous. Can we use axe? Don't understand that. Axe snake. What do you want to do with the snake? Throw axe? Oh, okay. Attacking the snake both doesn't work and is very dangerous. Interesting. All right, let's go back up. And then west. Good news, the crystal bridge is still here. And our food and water is still here. Okay. Good, good, good. So what I'm not clear on is if there's anywhere we can go from here. Oh. I honestly didn't expect that to work. So the previous room, it said you were on the west side of the fissure in the Hall of Mists, and I just tried going north, and that actually worked. You have crawled through a very low, wide passage parallel to and north of the Hall of Mists. There's this threatening little dwarf in the room with you. You're at the west end of Hall of Mists. A low, wide crawl continues west, and another goes north. To the south is a little passage 6 feet off the floor. Okay. Just write low passage, I guess. So it's north of the Hall of Mists. I guess this passage must have actually like curved around. So the Hall of Mists is here. We were at the west bank of the fissure, and I went north, and I'm basically north of this hall now. So this clearly like curved around in some way. You're in the west end of the Hall of Mists. A low, wide crawl continues west, and another goes north. So we can go west and north. To the south is a little passage 6 feet off the floor. I'm not clear if that takes us back to where we were. Let's find out. Oh no! There are 2 threatening little dwarves in the room with you. You are in a maze of twisty little passages, all alike. Okay. I'm gonna... Yeah. Okay. I went north and we're still in the maze. Okay, so we're trapped in the maze now. And with that said, I think this is a good time for a break. I will come back and do my best to deal with this maze. And I was hoping I could understand directions we could go here before I had to do this, but we'll figure that out eventually. I'm just going to write here that going south took us to the maze. All right, so I'll be back in a few, and then we'll see if we can deal with this situation. Okay. Maze of twisty little passages all alike. So I'm going to do my best to map this out. I don't know how successful I'll be. Apparently I am once again in need of additional paper. Also, I was thinking that I'll keep using pencil for now. I kind of want to completely start over on my maps already, but I'll stick with pencil for today and then figure out how to proceed next time. So the maze. We'll just label this start. And we got here by going south from the low, wide passage north of the Hall of Mists. But of course, going back north did not return us there. And these doors are continually threatening us, throwing knives at us. But fortunately missing repeatedly. Let's try east. Same story. Let's go east again. Can we throw an axe at these guys? Oh! You killed a little dwarf. The body vanishes in a cloud of greasy black smoke. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. There is a little axe here. Take axe. Okay. Throw axe. You killed a little dwarf. You are in a maze of twisted little passages, all alike. There's a little axe here. Take axe. Okay. Interesting. Also, that description of killing the dwarf, it said you killed a little dwarf. The body vanishes in a cloud of greasy black smoke. It's very different from, but very much reminds me of a description. There's pretty early on in Zork. There's, I want to say it's a troll that you need to fight, and I think in that case an axe is your weapon as well. And when you kill it, the description is something like the troll is enveloped in a cloud of black fog or something like that. The word envelop especially stands out in my mind. I am a murderer now. But at least I'm not getting knives thrown at me repeatedly. Let's see what my score is. Interesting. So I don't think... Is that actually a little lower than it was? Did I have 76 points before? I did murder both of them, yes. For safety reasons. All right. Let's try east again. Oh, no, I do not wish to quit now. Excuse me. Let's go east. Dead end. Oh, interesting. Robot's friend says, I do love the place description's lack of memory. You throw an axe and murder the dwarf. There's an axe here. Yeah. Look. Okay. Can't get any more detail. We're just at a dead end. So we can't go north, south, or east. We can go back west. Okay. Interesting. Let's try north. There's no way to go in that direction. Okay, so we'll put an X there. East. Okay, we can go east again from here. East, dead end. Is this a different dead end, or are we somehow at the same one? Who knows? Let's go back west, go north. I'm inclined to keep going north and east, just kind of see if we can find the boundaries of this maze. So let's go east again. And another dead end. It's interesting that, like, each time the dead end is a little further east here. Back west, north. I do almost wonder if it's possible somehow, like, it doesn't make sense with the movements I'm making here, but it almost seems like I'm coming back to the same dead end. It happened again. This is about odd. Let's try this. Okay, so I need my little marker. So we're back here right now. So let's go west again, and then south, and then east. And if I end up at a dead end again now, then at least the maze seems consistent. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's go west again, and then north. And then east. Let's see if I can get to this dead end again. So I'm here, and then this should be a dead end. Okay. So it does seem like this is mappable and consistent. So now we're back here. And I don't think I'm somehow winding up at the same dead end. I think these are multiple dead ends I keep coming to. But also, I'm out of room. Let's explore in other directions to avoid having to go to another piece of paper already. Thank you for the tea. Shoot. Dead end 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're here.
You did any more murders while I was making tea?
No, just the 2. Oh, okay. So I went south from here, which, if it took me back here, this was a place I couldn't go north from. Okay, so I'm actually somewhere else. Do you have a, like, big eraser?
In that zipper pouch.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you need to get your own pencil case?
Maybe. I'm just gonna redraw this little section here. I don't know how this lines up with the other areas we've been to here. But I want to clean things up a little. Well, could be better, but it's fine. So I think we're back here now. I went south twice and then back north. So let's go south again. And now I'm at a dead end. Okay. Oh. North, there's no way to go that direction. West? East? Okay. Well, heck, that's confusing. So now the maze is getting a little bit weird on me. It's unfortunate. I'm just going to draw this as a little thing that curves around over here. So now we're back in this space. Can we go east? So that's another dead end. I'm just going to start denoting a dead end with an X. West. Back here. North. East. This is very complicated. East again. Dead end. Okay. Efton says you jumped off a ledge and couldn't go back north. Right. So now we're back here. Let's go west some more. In fact, let's just keep going west. Let's see how west we can go. Quite a bit, apparently. Does this not actually end? Oops. You don't know west east? So I ran out of space. I made the circles much smaller. I still ran out of space. I've gone west so many times. I am now suspecting that there's some amount of weirdness going on here. I mean, it's possible this is just a huge maze. I went back east and immediately hit a dead end. This is starting to remind me more of the Zork experience of the Maze of Twisty Passages. Okay, let's try the Zork solution. We don't have a lot of inventory items. Do you need help getting out of the maze? No. I mean, I do, but I do not wish to have it at this time. So I'm going to start dropping items and see if that helps me navigate the space better. So let's drop bottle and look. There's a bottle of water here. So let's try going west. Oh, I went west and there's a bottle of water here. So yeah, if we go west, we're looping around to the same room. So that's very helpful. I think at this point I should probably start a new map. For now, let's start one here, just in the bottom corner here. So here's our water bottle. And if we go west, we just come back around. So let's try south. Okay, south also takes us back here. East, dead end. Let's drop our food here. This seems like a distinct room, but let's experiment a little. I'm just going to draw a little sandwich here. Okay, so we go back west, and there's our bottle of water. And then I think, like, the thing that kept happening here was I would come back, I would hit the dead end, I would go west. I would go west again. Actually, I would go north. So, oh, interesting. So north takes us to a new area. What can we drop here? But basically what I was saying is I think I was somehow looping around and then I was in fact ending up at the same dead end. Like, for a little bit there, it seemed like I was able to navigate the space in a normal way, but I think it was misleading. Let's drop the cage here. And let's see if I can go south. Okay, so if I go back south, I'm actually in a different room now. This is so hard to map. What can I drop here? Let's drop the axe. Oh, and if I go south from there, I go back to the dead end. Which I can only go west out of. Oh, there's no way to go in that direction. Is this a... Oh, right. I dropped my food in the previous dead end. So there is more than one dead end. This one, we can't do northwest. East got me back out. Okay. So let's go south and then west. Okay. So all other directions are blocked out of the dead end, out of that dead end. So east. Now we're back at the axe. Let's try east again. Dead end. Brass lantern. I guess turn lantern off. Can I do that? Okay, so it is dark here. Light lantern. It was hard to tell if it was necessarily dark everywhere in the cave, since we've just had the lantern on the whole time. But we need our lantern, so we're out of items to drop, which is a little unfortunate because we might not have enough items to make sense of this cave. Let's go east. Oh, we're in a different dead end. Huh. So, okay, so I went east to a dead end. And then I was able to go back west and return to the axe. Let's try west again here. Okay, so going west took me back to the cage. So now I'm up here again. I think we can eventually do this. Basically, I think the trick here is we need to understand the rules of the cave or the maze. Like, I think there's not actually that many rooms. It's just that lots of them loop back around in unexpected ways. And once we, like, it seems consistent in that if we start in a specific room and go in any given direction, like, that will always take us to the same place. And then the trick with dropping items is it helps us differentiate each space. But eventually, once we understand the rules, as long as we know our starting point, then we can actually navigate the maze without having to drop items. So we're at the cage, and we've so far only gone south from here. So let's try east. So we're in another space that we have not dropped any items in, which again is a bummer. I kind of wish I had only dropped the diamonds, but alas. Let's try going back west. Okay, we're back in the cage room. Let's try north from here. Okay, so north loops us back around. West. And that takes us back to the water bottle room. Here's the thing. Can we go diagonally? Okay. There's no way to go in that direction. I guess I never tried north from the axe. So let's go back to that room. So this is the wicker cage, and if I go south from here, I'm in the axe room, and I go north, I'm in another room. Let's try west from here and see if I end up in the birdcage room. I do. Okay, so these might actually be the same room. I wouldn't say that's definitive at this point, but it kind of seems like it. I'm going to put a question mark in both these spaces. Okay, and east takes us to a maze twisted passage is all like no item. Let's see if going west from here, yeah, that takes me to the cage. So I think going east from here is just a loop back around. Let's go east again. Let's try south. Again, we're in a room with no items. Let's try west again. No way to go in that direction. Okay, so that seems like a different space. What if we go west from there? Oh, right. I just tried that. Shoot. Yeah, there's too many rooms. East. Another room. West. Okay, so that brought us back. Back up here. I think at this point I could go back and get the axe or the water bottle, maybe both. Like, I think those rooms are not going to get us anywhere useful. So let's do this. I'm getting out my pen here. Just because I'm going to start numbering rooms. Because we need to pick up items to be able to get any further in this maze. But we can just have the arbitrary numbers. Like, it doesn't, mean anything other than it gives me a way to keep track of which room goes where. So I'm naming this, currently the water bottle room is numbered 1. Cage room, we're going to call 2. So then down here, we're going to call the axe room 3. And then I can mark down here that going west from room 3 takes us to room 2, which currently has the cage. And then this room we'll call 4. And we're pretty sure going north from 3 takes us to room 4. I'll put a question mark there in case I'm wrong. And these dead ends... let's do X1, X2, X3 for these dead ends, because I think those are all distinct rooms. Okay, so we're in the wicker cage room, which is 2. So I can go south and take my axe. And now, here's what I'll do. Axe, bottle, food. Okay. Oh, right. The food is in X1. Oh, and the cage is my other item that I'm using. Okay. So down here, which I guess is mostly off camera, down here I will keep track of which room each item is currently in, which should give me a way to, like, help make sense. Like, it would be a lot easier if I had more items, but since I have a limited number of items, if I number each room and then keep track of the room number each item is currently in, I should be able to eventually make sense of this. So we're currently in 3, which no longer has an axe in it, but we know where each direction in this room gets us. So, like, we can go north and we're in room 4, and then we can go west and we're in room 2, which currently has a cage. And now we can... Actually, we haven't... Oh, no, we have... Let me double check things here. Whoop. South. Okay. So this was a one-way path. So here's where it gets tricky. Like, I'm in a room here with no items. I don't know which room I'm in, but let's say, you know, if I'm in these rooms over here, I can't really figure that out. But if I go south and get to a dead end, or if I go west and get to the room that currently has the cage, then I have a good guess that going south from 2 took me to room 3. So I'm going to try west, and we're in the cage room. So yeah, I think going south from the cage room takes us to 3. And then we already knew going north takes us back to 2. And then going west from here takes us to room 1. And we're going to go ahead and take the bottle here. Basically, each time we have checked all the directions in a room, then we'll pick up the item from there. And then we should be able to eventually make some progress here. So east of here, there's our food. So we'll take our food, and then we'll go west, and then we'll go north. I think I'm going to leave the cage here for now. So I'll write down that that's currently in 2. And then the other 3 items we're using are in my possession. So here I'm going to drop the axe. So that's in room 4. And then if I go back west, there's the cage. Okay. So now I want to check north. There's no way to go in that direction. So we're still in the axe room. East. Oh. Okay. I had previously thought that going east from here took me back to the same room, but now that we've dropped an axe here, we know that's incorrect. I was taken somewhere else. And we've also had a nasty knife thrown at us, and we don't have our axe, which is unfortunate. So we're going to drop the bottle. Okay. Wherever we are, I'm pretty sure going west actually goes back to the cage. Let's do that. And also, it's unfortunate you can't pick up the knives. Yeah, for sure. I think I will avoid dropping the axe. I was hoping we only had 2 dwarves to deal with, but it's clear that is not the case. So since we may have new dwarves to deal with at any time, I think I will try to keep the axe with me. But let's go back west. There are faint rustling noises from the darkness behind you. That's interesting. Okay, let's go back east. Here's our axe. Throw axe. You attack a little dwarf, but he dodges out of the way. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. Take axe. Throw axe. You killed a little dwarf. Okay. So we're going to keep the axe. Let's drop the bottle in this room. Oh, what? What? Did I forget to pick up the bottle? Okay, let's drop the food. I might have forgotten to pick it up. So food is in room 4. And I'm going to go back to where the bottle previously was. So west. This faint rustling continues to be in room number 2. I don't know if that's meaningful. How do I get back to room 1? Oh, west from here. Okay. There's nothing here. What happened to my bottle? Did it... Once again, I'm reminded of Zork. In Zork, there's a thief. And the thief will take things from you, as you might expect. I think generally only items of value, like treasures and stuff. But I almost wonder if something was taken from me. I didn't see any text suggesting that. But who knows? But I'm pretty sure we're in this room. Let's go east. Yeah, we're at a dead end. So I think that's correct, that we're in the room where we previously left the bottle. All right, we'll just have to try to make do here. Since we have fewer items now, I'm going to go ahead and take this cage. I would prefer to leave that there, but we need it. We need more items to map this out. I guess I'm going to put a question mark next to the bottle. Okay, so east. There is food here. Okay, so we're in room 4. So let's go south. And then we're in this room, which I think is a room we haven't numbered yet. So I'm going to drop the... No, I dropped the food already. I'm going to drop the cage here. Okay. So the cage is in what we're going to call 5. And now we need to figure out where this takes us. So let's try west. Okay. Can't go that way. South takes us to another room with no items. What do we have? Can we drop anything else? I guess I'm going to have to drop the axe. So we're going to call this 6. Well, I guess it's possible. It's possible this brought us back to a familiar spot. Let's try south from here. Okay. Shoot. I should have dropped an item before I did that. I think I'm kind of lost now. Throw axe. You killed a little dwarf. I'm murdering a lot of dwarves here. Okay, we're still at 73. So if I did lose any points for doing that previously, I'm not continuing to lose points for it at least. Well, I guess I'll leave the axe now to mark this room. I don't know what room we're in. I don't want to quit now. South brought me back to the same room. We need to get back to a known location. So I'm just kind of... because I lost my place, like, it's not worth keeping track of anything until I can find a familiar space. It's saying there are faint rustling noises in the darkness behind you, which previously happened in room number 2 consistently. So let's test a little. If I go south and then south again, okay, no. So that room was a different space than where we had previously heard rustling noises. I can't seem to get anywhere here. West, I think, is kind of looping back around. East. Oh. I'm back at the cage. Okay, so now we're here. And I think going east from here, yeah, took me back to the food, which is number 4. Okay, so now we're back here. And the only way we haven't gone from here is east. So let's try that. Ah, we're at the water bottle. Wait, the water bottle? What? Where? Did I drop that and forget to write it down?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
What happened?
Your lamp is getting dim.
Oh,
You'd
no?
best start wrapping this up unless you can find some fresh batteries. I seem to recall there's a vending machine in the maze. Bring some coins with you.
Coins?
What? Oh, no. So at first it gave me hope. Oh, a vending machine. I just got to find that, but I don't have any coins. Oh, thank you for the coins on Secret Crush.
No problem.
I guess our problems are solved now. I have 2 coins. I'm sure the game will recognize that. Oh, for Kung, welcome. I missed you coming in. In my screen, your username colors are blending in with some other folks. I apologize, I did not say hello previously. Hope you are doing well. Okay. At this point, I guess, like, the... I hate a cryptic maze that's pay to live. Like, my primary goal here is to map out this maze, which we are making good progress on. So if the lantern goes out and we die, like, that's okay. We've still made a lot of useful progress. So... Since I lost track of where the water bottle was, I'm basically lost again. So I'll just have to experiment. Okay, we're back at the food now. So we're in 4. Let's go south. Okay, there's our cage, so we're back down here at 5. And I guess we've mapped all directions from here. So let's go east, and then we're back at the food. So let's... East from there is kind of the only direction we haven't gone yet. And this puts us in a new space, so that'll be room 7. And now we're going to drop our water bottle here on purpose. And go south, dead end. Interesting. Which dead end are we at? Is it one of these, or is this a new one? Let's try north. Okay, there's no way to go that direction. Let's try west. There's no way to go that direction. Okay, so I think this is a new dead end. So this will be X4. I guess I should do a one-way arrow here. Honestly, I should probably draw arrows, double arrows in these paths that are like two-way. Okay. So we can't go north, west, south, east. Okay, we're back at the water bottle now, which was 7. So this just takes us back here. All right, let's try east, dead end. Okay. East? Okay, so this is a different dead end. North? West? Okay, back at the water bottle. So I think this is yet another dead end. X5. So... Okay, so that's like a two-way path. So north from here takes us to the food. Oh no. So that's room 4. Oh, 6 must be where we need to go. We haven't mapped that out yet. So I think I'm going to go back to 7. We'll go east. We'll take the bottle from here. And then we'll go back west. Oh, no. Oh. North? Shit. I'm lost again. Okay. This was not a two-way path. I don't know where I am right now. Try north. I'm just going to wander until I find something. We're at a dead end. Food. Okay, we're back at the food. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to drop the bottle again. 6-7 says it'd be super cruel if it randomized any part of this so you couldn't even map it out before your lantern died and couldn't reuse the map. Yeah, that would be very cruel. That seems unlikely. But now I'm a little nervous. Okay, so I mainly dropped the bottle so I can try to figure out where going west from room 7 takes us. Oh no, your lamp has run out of power. There are faint rustling noises from the darkness behind you. It is now pitch dark. If you proceed, you will likely fall into a pit. It keeps telling me that. You fell into a pit and broke every bone in your body.
Jeez.
Oh dear, you seem to have gotten yourself killed. I might be able to help you out, but I've never really done this before. Do you want me to try and reincarnate you? I'm going to say no, but I appreciate the offer. Oh, I guess we lost 10 points for dying? We were told that, I suppose. You scored 63 out of a possible 350 using 341 turns. Your score qualifies you as Novice Class Adventurer. To achieve the next higher rating, you need 38 more points. Press return to go back to the finder. Should I keep going a little or wrap things up? I haven't drank any of my tea. We'll keep going a little bit at least. Should I take my medication? I guess is the better question.
Maybe.
Okay. I will take a quick break. Just be a minute while I grab my meds, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're basically starting over again here. That's all right. I'm just thinking here. So basically my goal here, we don't need instructions. My goal here is to just get back to the maze. Like I would like to figure that out. Like, I want to get back to that maze, and I want to have as many items as possible when we get there. So I will not worry about bringing the diamonds back. We'll just focus on getting there and mapping that out. Like, the more I play this game, like, it's clear that in order to get the maximum score, you will probably need to play through the game a bunch of times so you know, like, exactly what you need to do. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to worry about getting the maximum score, but I do want to, like, find all the treasures. I'll probably end up, you know, having a final playthrough where I lose some amount of points. This would be a game to speedrun. Yeah. But that's okay. I'll just focus on, you know, figuring everything out more than anything else. But I do think I'll, you know, be doing a lot of starting over just because it's kind of almost seems like I could save more often and just take the points hit for doing that, but I don't know. Thinking about it. Yeah, like an uninvited. Oh, which one did I miss? Lantern. Keys. I really wish I could take all here. Exit. South, south, south. Unlock. Great. Down. West. Take cage. West. Oh. Light lantern. Take rod. West. 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 Down. Whoop. Down. Let's see. So now we're at the Hall of Mists. Yeah. So I'm not going to worry about the snake. We don't really know how to get past the snake at this point. We got the axe, which is great. And okay, we're at the fissure, so now we want to wave the rod. I'm trying to find my bit of map here, make sure I don't get lost. Wave rod. Crystal bridge appears. There's a dwarf threatening me. Let's throw the axe. You kill the little dwarf. Take axe. Take diamonds. Can't carry anything more. Okay. I figured that would happen. That is okay. I think we'll just leave the diamonds there and not worry about them for now. At least we'll know where they are if we are able to even get back here in this playthrough. I feel like there's a good chance we won't. And then we can go north, I think, and then south. And now we're in the maze again. So now the big question is, where do we start when we get to the maze? Let's drop. Cross off all our numbers here. So we have, actually, let's first look at our inventory. Don't forget wallet. Oh no, I did forget my wallet. So we have the rod is a thing we can use to keep track of stuff, which, like, that's actually great because we probably don't need that anymore. So if we just leave it behind, that's probably okay. Whereas almost everything else is something we're likely to need. It's possible the keys we only need for the grate, but since it's a set of keys, I'm assuming not. But we can also use that as a marker. Okay, so let's drop the rod here. And try west. Okay. Let's drop the food. Okay, let's try west again. There's food here. Okay. I suspect we're in room 1 now, but yeah, I think that's a good bet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the food and assume we're in room 1. I am curious. I was hoping to be able to determine where we started out. I dropped the rod and went west twice. So, okay, so going west from here takes us to 1. So it's possible we started in room 4. I'm going to write in pencil that this might be the start. And I dropped a rod there. So if we get back to room 4 and there's a rod there, then we know that's the starting point. And actually, I forgot to screw things up already. We dropped the rod in 4, question mark. I'll write start next to that. And then I picked up the food. So we'll go north. Oh, what? The rod is here. I'm confused. North. Okay. I wish I could scroll up. I must have screwed something up, or I was mistaken about where I was. Okay, I need to do some further investigating to figure out. Let's try west. Okay, so we're in a different place now. All right. Let's drop the food here. So here's the rod. West is food. Okay, I'm confident this is room number 1. At least I'm pretty sure. So that's 1. And then we go north. Then our rod is in room number 2. I don't know. Maybe I'm lost. Maybe the maze is random. I don't know. If I go west, I should be back in room 1. Okay, so there's food here. Okay, so I think we're good. And then that's the dead end. Okay, so take food. And then we'll go north. And then we're back in room 2. And then if I go north, we should be in the same room. Okay, so east is in room 4. I'm still not entirely sure where we started out, but that's okay. Here I'm going to drop the food. So that's in 4 now. And then I'll go south. And this is room 5. Let's drop keys here. And then just to do another quick test here, let's go east and we should be back in 4 where our food is. Good. So I went south again and there's another dwarf. I've killed it. Okay. So now we're in 5 and we want to get to 6. Oh, right. Room 7. I was in room 7 and I couldn't figure out where going west from room 7 got me to. figure that out definitively before we worry about room 6. Oh no. Oh. So going from 4 to 5 is a one-way, and this going north takes me to some dead end. Don't know which one. Can't go north. Can't go west. South worked. And got me to the keys. Okay, so I think this is another dead end room that I can go in both directions. And then east should take us to 4, where our food is, and then east again takes us to 7. And I'm gonna drop, what do I have still? Let's drop our cage here. So that is in 7. And now hopefully we can figure out where going west takes us. The rod. Okay. Okay, so this room 7 might actually be where we start from. That's my new guess about that. Because wherever I started, I went west twice and got to room 1. And room 7 is a place where that would happen. Should put a question mark. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take this rod and then go east. Let's go east again, take the cage, go north. We're going to leave the food there for now. We'll go south, so we're in room 5, and we fully mapped out room 5, and room 6 is the only room we have not fully mapped out yet. There's a dwarf here. Interestingly, the dwarf has not thrown anything at me yet. But I guess I'm going to be violent and do my best to murder it. Dodges out of the way. Take axe. Throw axe. You have killed the little dwarf. Take axe. Yeah, I will take it. I think I still have the bottle. Actually, I picked up some things, I think, and forgot to remove them from my room marker list here. The cage. So the food is in room 4, keys are in 5, and we'll drop the rod here. This is complex. Honestly, like, I'm really curious to go back and play Zork again. Like, I feel like this is probably actually very similar to how that maze worked. But I don't remember enough about it to be certain. It's been quite a while since I have in my head that it was 20 years later when I finally figured out how to navigate that maze. But that would have been still quite some time ago at this point. So, rod is in 6, and that's where we currently are. So, let's check north. Oh, there's no way to go in that direction. Okay. I had this marked as a two-way path, but that was obviously wrong. So, let's try west. Ooh. So, this could be a new room. It could be one of these other rooms where we didn't leave any items. So basically what I'm doing in case we might be in one of those rooms is like, you know, if I go east. Okay. I'm back where the rod is. That's interesting. So I can go back and forth here. I am guessing this is a new room then. where I can go back and forth. So this is 8. Okay, so we're in 6 currently. So let's try our other directions here. I went east and I have keys, so I'm in 5. So we'll go back south to room 6, south again, and I'm in a different room. Okay, let's drop something here. Let's drop the cage. Okay. I'm going to try going east. Ooh. East again. Okay. Silver says, I love watching Robot Spacer's map evolve. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Silver says, every time I think about my maps, oh no. Okay, so I think we were just in room 8, but that's purely a guess. But we're back where the cage is, so that's 6. Let's go west. Oh, black rod. 6. What? Wait. Shit. Oh no. Where did I drop the cage? Okay. Okay, we went south from the rod. Okay, and I dropped the cage there. I'm hesitating to draw any number in this space because it's possible it's the same as 8. Let's go east. Okay, that took me somewhere new. And then east again. Okay. Get knives thrown at me again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark this as 9 now, and our cage is in 9. Deal with this dwarf. Missed. Success. Take X. Okay, so now we're in 9. And east takes us somewhere we haven't dropped anything, which might be room 8. It might be yet another room. West takes me back to the rod. So that's 6. Let's go south. That's the cage. North takes me somewhere new. Okay, so that's a one-way path. Shoot. Oh. You are on the brink of a 30-foot pit with a massive orange column down one wall. You could climb down here, but you could not get back up.
Uh-oh.
The maze continues at this level. Interesting. The maze continues at this level. That's the sentence that's throwing me off. Like, we know that because we just came out of the maze. Well, I guess the question is it saying that if we climb down, the maze will continue? Or, like, I know this the room descriptions are, consistent, so is it assuming we... I don't know. Okay, I went back west. Okay, I'm back at the cage. Like, I don't want to venture out of the cage until I feel, out of the maze until I feel like I've mapped this area. The maze, which is also a cage.
Cave? Or cage?
I said cage accidentally,
Okay.
and then I was saying how it is basically a cage also, even though I said that accidentally. I'm sure that all makes sense to everyone. Okay. I was really hoping I was getting closer to figuring this out. Just mostly because I'm at 9 numbered rooms now. And I only have 6 items to keep track of different spaces. So if there are a lot more rooms in this maze, it's going to get very difficult. We're making progress, so I'll just keep doing my best. So we're in 9 now. And then I think if I go west, we're back at the rod, which is room 6. So let's go west from here, and I think going east gets me back there. Yeah, so let's drop something here. Let's drop the bottle. So that's in room 8 now. And this should help. Let's go south. There's no way to go in that direction. Let's try north. There's no way to go in that direction. Let's try west. Okay, we're in a new space. I guess I'll drop the X. Silver says, Google says I am mishearing/remembering. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. Close enough. Oh, before that, that's a music thing, right? Despite all this page, I'm still just a dude in a cage. Close enough indeed. Yeah, the second quote there is the way I remember it. So I've dropped the axe. I don't know where I am exactly is the tricky part. I'm going to do axe question mark for now. And I'm just going to experiment a little. Okay, I went west and got to the bottle of water, which is 8. Interesting. East. South. So this is 9. Let's go east from here. Okay, that's kind of what I was suspecting. East from here, we're going to call this 10 now. And that's where our axe is. And this also goes to 10. Okay, so... Oh, I guess we still haven't figured out where north from room 6 goes. Let's try west from here. That took us to the water bottle. That's 8. Interesting. So we can go east. And there's our rod. North. Okay, north has... We can't go north. Okay, so 6 is mapped out. 8 is mapped out. Food is way up in 4. I think we should go back and get the food. And then we're focused on this zone here. So we're in 6.
What type of food do you think
So
it
I go
is?
east. I think it's a sandwich, but the game doesn't tell us. In my mind, it's a sandwich. Go east again, take the food. And then we can go south a couple times. Actually, I'm going to go east, take the keys as well, and go south. So I picked up the keys. I have picked up the food. And now we need to finish mapping out 9, and also we have 10 to worry about. I will say, while there's lots of like, you know, we go in one direction and we kind of loop back around and go somewhere a little unexpected, like it does seem like at this point in the maze, we're not ever looping way back around to like this part of the maze over here. Like it seems like we're always going like one or two spaces away from where we came from. So that makes it a lot easier to deal with. Okay, so we're in room 6. I'm going to leave the rod there. And we're going to go south. Whoops. So we're in 9. And then I'm going to try south again. Okay, and that brought me back to the cage, which is the same room. Okay, so that just loops around. And then north from here takes us somewhere else. Let's experiment. West brought me back to 9. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I don't think... I'm trying to see if there's any rooms we've been to that bring us back to 9 if we go west, and I don't think there are. So this is another new space. I'm not going to add it yet. So we're 9. Let's go east. So we're in room 10 where the axe is. Let's go north. That brought us back around. Let's go south. Nothing here. I'm going to mark this as a new room. And we are going to drop the keys here. Okay. And now let's see if going north. Oh, north brought me back to the cage, which is 9. We'll eventually get out of here, right? Okay, now I think I want to go north again. Okay. So this is still a room that doesn't have anything in it. I'm just trying to figure out where to put this. We're going to call this 12 that we're in now. And we're going to drop the food here. And I feel like I went west? Okay, we went west and got back to the cage, which is 9. So let's go north again and go east. Oh, you're at brink of pit. Okay. Brink of pit. So now we have successfully mapped a way back to this point, which I think we can get out from here. Well, what did it say? You're on the brink of a 30-foot pit with a massive orange column down one wall. You could climb down here, but you could not get back up. Okay. So maybe this, and then it says the maze continues at this level. I'm not clear if that's saying that the maze will continue if we climb down the pit or what. But this isn't a way out. This isn't a way to get back to where we were. This is a way to, well, I guess it could be, but it seems unlikely. I assume we're like lower than where we were previously, so going further down would not be a way out. So I'm going to go back west, which takes me back to 12. So that's at least a two-way path. And let's try north from here. That just loops around. Okay, so that room's all figured out. Let's go back. Well, let's take our food. And we will go west to get back to the cage room, which is 9. I'm going to go ahead and... I won't worry about it yet. I was thinking about picking up a couple items, but we'll wait. Okay, so let's go east to 10. Let's go east again. That takes us back to 9. So we'll go east, back to 10. We'll go south. And we're in 11 now. Let's see, north takes us back to 9. Let's try west. That goes back to 10. South? Dead end. Okay. This is probably a different dead end, I'm guessing. North. Can't go north. We'll name this... What was our last dead end? 6? X7? West. Okay. That got me back to keys, which is 11. East? No way to go east. Okay, so that is basically a dead end. Have we mapped out this whole level? I'm not seeing any paths we haven't taken. So it might be time to grab all our items and climb down the pit. I'm a little scared about that. That was a dead end, so that doesn't have any... I guess I have X's here, I just didn't ever draw them in pen. Yeah, I think I should go ahead and pick up my items. Take keys. We need to get... So I've got the keys now. Let's go west. Take the axe. I'll go west again, take the bottle. So now we're in room 8. We still need to get the rod and the cage. So the rod is in 6, so I should be able to go east. So there's the rod. And then the cage is in 9. So I can go south, take cage. Okay, so now we have all our items. Let's double check. We have keys, rod, cage, axe, bottle, and food. Okay, and now we can go north to room 12 and east to brink of pit. And it's time to go down the pit. We're in bird chamber. A cheerful little bird is sitting here singing. So we were above where we started. This is fascinating to me. How we never found the vending machine. It seemed like I mapped that so thoroughly, and yet I clearly missed at least that. I also can't help but think, surely there's a treasure somewhere in that maze, right? I am starting to think, is it possible the vending machine is just a joke? Like, I don't know. I will say one thing. There's another thing I've seen from Colossal Cave Reimagined is a shot of a vending machine that has like a battery icon on it or something. But, you know, maybe they were like, oh, it'd be funny if we took that misleading joke from the original and made it real. So, you know, I wouldn't say I'm positive there is a vending machine in this maze. It seems like there must be. It's certainly possible, you know, with all the arrows that I drew, that like I have missed some path, some direction from one of these rooms that I didn't actually check. But it seemed like I was so thorough. And I guess the bigger thing is, this is called Bird Chamber. The bigger thing is, like, I'm back where I started more or less, and we still don't know how to progress. Although, yeah, I guess now that I think about it, there were some areas we didn't have a chance to explore. It'd be kind of funny if I was like, oh, I got to get back to that maze so I can map it out, and there's actually no reason to go back there. But we were at the low passage. We went south, and that got us to the maze. There were other paths from the low passage that we didn't ever check. Let's go back there. I need to wrap up soon, I think, but we'll go back there and we'll check out things a little bit more. So this is pit, south. Oh, down, excuse me. West. There are diamonds here. North will take us to the low passage. West end of Hall of Mists. So from here, we know we can go west or north, and south will take us to the maze. Let's try west. Okay, so this is a new area. I assume there's some direction we can go from here to get back where we came from. You're at the east end of a very long hall, apparently with outside chambers. We'll call this long hall, I guess. To the east, a low, wide crawl slants up. To the north, a round 2-foot hole slants down. Okay. So east is back here. Let's see where north goes here. You've crawled through a very low, wide passage parallel to and north of the Hall of Mists. Okay, so that takes me back to where the diamonds are. Okay. So let's go north again and then west. And then from here, I think we can go north. You are at a crossover of a high north-south passage and a low east-west one. Okay. So we can go in any direction? Let's keep going north. Dead end. Back south? Okay. Dead end made me a little nervous, like, oh no, are we in a maze again? But it's all good. Let's try east. You're in the west side chamber of the Hall of the Mountain King. A passage continues west and up here. There are many coins here.
Ooh.
Take coins.
Oh no!
We can't carry anything.
I was gonna say, how will the Mountain King feel about you taking his coins?
West side chamber. Many coins. I wonder how many batteries we can buy with these coins. I'm going to drop the rod here and take the coins. Passage continues west and up. Okay. So it looks like we can just go back. But let me double check. Oh. Oh, okay. I went east and now I'm back in the Hall of the Mountain King. With the snake. We don't have anything new that we could use here, right? Rare coins. Interesting. Yeah, we know the axe doesn't work, so all we can do is leave. Let's get back to where we were. North. So west, north, and then west. You're at the east. Oh. That brought me back to here. So north takes me here. Where does south go? Okay. So north took me here, but then west brought me back. This is very confusing. But south took us to, you're at the west end of a very long featureless hall. The hall joins up with a narrow north-south passage. Featureless hall. I am increasingly so curious how, like, maps of this game draw this stuff out. Does north take me back? Yeah, okay. And then I can go south again. Oh. Huh. You were in a maze of twisty little passages, all different.
Curious.
That's different wording, right?
Certainly. It's a subversion of my expectation for how that phrase should end, anyway.
It sure is. So they're all different. Does that mean this maze is easier to navigate if they're all different? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna take out a piece of this, our previous map. I'm gonna label this all alike, and this all different. All different, sure. Very good at writing correctly. I'm just going to experiment a little here. West. Oh. Oh. You were in a maze of little twisting passages, all different.
What?
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I don't like this at all.
Yeah, this, seems bad.
Okay, I'm going to label this Twisty Little Passages, TLP, and this is Little Twisting Passages.
LTP.
Yes. Let's go west again. You are in a twisting little maze. Oh, God. You're in a twisting little maze of passages, all different. So this is a little bit good in that I think I could map this out without having to drop any items. However, like, I feel like it's maybe just as complex. So this is twisting little maze of passages, TLMP. If I go east, do I go back? Twisty little maze of passages. Twisty little... Oh, God. So we have twisting little maze of passages and twisty little maze of passages. So if I can't use initials to map this out, like I'm going to have to... like, I could use numbers and then have a guide, but it probably makes more sense to have little circles that write out the full name. I think that's going to be it for today. Silver says, general note, this is why most scouts survival training has you keep chalk or some kind of charcoal in your bag, for sure.
Make marks.
Yeah. That would definitely be the way to do it. I would have written numbers on all the walls here in our previous maze, and I guess I'd take the same approach here. I should, before we wrap up, here's my maybe complete maze map of the first all-alike maze.
I like 6-7's comment.
Question mark?
You had first maze, sure. How about second maze?
Exactly. And then here's my map of the main cave area so far. And then that's the relatively small outside the cave area. And then my very loose attempts to make some sense of the forest. I think the forest is probably designed to be, you get lost, but it's easy to get out, is my impression of that. I'm gonna look over these maps and see if there's any way I can like redraw them in a way that's a little bit cleaner, but we'll see. I didn't actually take any notes. I feel like honestly the map so far is all the notes I really need. I might get to a point where I want to take more detailed notes about, do this, then do this, just to make sure I'm doing things in the correct order and don't miss steps. As far as saving goes, I'm not gonna. Honestly, I think we're still at a point where we're just better off starting over, start fresh. I think now, if we get in that first maze again, I think I can navigate it probably without even dropping any items. And like all the other stuff has been easy to navigate so far. So ultimately, like, I guess we'll just have to go back to this other maze and then map that out. I feel like we checked most other passageways. Let's see my score. If you were to quit now, you would score 65 out of a possible 350. Since we didn't even pick up the diamond, let alone take it back to the building, we didn't get any points for that in this playthrough. So actually 65 seems pretty decent considering we skipped that. I assume we got a decent amount of points for escaping the maze, is my guess. But yes, we will quit. Novice Class Adventurer. Can't remember if that's the highest I got or not. Aquilina says, this game is so cool. This game is cool. Yeah, I agree. I'm enjoying it a lot. And it's neat, like, I can see all these things that Zork borrowed from it, but it's quite different overall. So it'll be fun to play all through this, and then at some point... originally, I planned to play Zork after I finished up King's Quest. But eventually I'll come back to that. I think we'll probably take a break after this one. I want to play too many text-only games in a row. Ideally, I'd like to jump back and forth between older and more modern games just to kind of mix things up a little. But thank you all for coming on this adventure with me. It was a lot of fun.
Colossal Cave Adventure.
Exactly. So schedule next week is going to be an exciting one. There's links to both our schedules. So let's just go through the whole week in order. Monday on Secret Crush, we'll continue Persona 3 in the new year. Tuesday in the evening, I will continue Return of the Obra Dinn, which has been wonderful. Thursday on Secret Crush, we'll be back in the afternoon for some Genshin Impact. Mm-hmm. Friday, I'm done with Optimus Prime, so I won't have any regular Friday streams for a while, but next week is special because that's when I'm going to do my extended, extra long adventure stream celebrating my 1-year anniversary as a Twitch affiliate. So thanks to everyone's votes, we've decided that Maniac Mansion is the game I will spend most of my time on. I will also play Stair Quest, an homage to early King's Quest games created by Decaf Jedi, Space Quest Historian, and a bunch of other folks. And I will do my speed run of the Colonel's Bequest, which I'm very excited about. I want to do at least one or other spur of the moment stream before then.
You haven't really done any practice runs of Colonel's Bequest yet.
Right. I said previously, I don't want to do, like, if I do a ton of practicing, then I'll just I'll do a very quick run through on stream, and then it won't be very exciting, right? Like, sure. I know I'm not, even if I do a bunch of practicing, I'm not going to break a record or anything. So my thought is it'll be more fun if it's a little bit less polished. But I do want to do at least one more spur of the moment stream where I finish figuring out my route and do a little bit more practice on that. So I'm still not sure exactly when that'll be. I was hoping to do it this week, but just didn't have a good time for it. But I will definitely figure out a time for that before next week. And then a week from today, I will probably continue this. There's a little bit of a question mark there because if I'm just exhausted from streaming next Friday, I might decide to cancel Saturday's stream, but probably not. We'll see how it goes. So that's all that. And I guess I got to find someone to raid now. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Not really.
What you gonna get up to in your streams next week?
I actually don't quite remember where we left off in our last Persona 3 stream. I kind of think we got to the top of Tartarus. It's mid-January. Probably some amount of just dungeon grinding and maybe a little bit of advancing time. For Genshin stream, I'm going to continue the RN Yaka World Quest series in Sumeru, which is a very long World Quest series that was released all the way back in 3.0. It's now 3.3, 3.4 is almost upon us, and I'm only maybe 2/3 of the way through this entire quest chain because it's very long. Hello, Ribbons of Distinction. We were playing classic Colossal Cave today.
Yeah, don't have the new one yet, but I wanted to have a chance to experience this one before that one comes out on the 19th, which I'm very much looking forward to. Hopefully, like, I'm a little worried.
Yeah, what if you just have spoiled the new one entirely for yourself?
Right, that's certainly a possibility. I feel like they've said that, you know, they've added some new things, made some amount of changes so that, you know, even if you played the original, it will be a fun experience, which you know, it's got graphics, it's in 3D, like, it's going to be a different experience regardless. Certainly I'll have a little bit of an edge having solved some of the puzzles, but hopefully it'll bring some new challenges and stuff.
You'll get to look into the eyes of the dwarves as you murder them.
I'm trying to figure out someone we can raid here.
Too many choices or not many choices?
Somewhat fewer choices, as you might expect of New Year's Eve. There's not a lot of folks streaming that I am personally familiar with, so I'm trying to find someone new we can say hello to here. But it does seem like there's some good options. All right, this sounds like fun. One of my recommended channels is Just Playin', who is playing a Nancy Drew game.
Ooh.
Which looks like very similar in style to the game Silver was playing. Like, I feel like it must have been made like pretty close to that same time period. Oh, it's also got a very cool map in it. Anyways, let's hop on over there and say hello. Also, there's lots of, like, this is tagged kazoo, and their bio says they're a kazoo enthusiast, which I personally think is great.
That sounds festive.
Silver says, all of the Nancy Drew games are very similar in style and play method. I really need to dig into them more. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to eventually check out some of those myself. Anyways, let's head on over there. Heck, y'all, this is the last day of the year.
Heck.
There's probably some of you are already in the new year. Who knows?
2023 coming in hot.
But thanks for hanging out throughout the whole dang year. I appreciate you all very much, and Happy New Year. Take care, y'all. We'll see you around.
Peace.
Bye.